Welcome to Therapist Spotlight.
Hello everybody and welcome to Ange's Therapist Spotlight, the podcast where we aim to showcase our wonderful members to the wider community to showcase how natural therapies can be used for better health and well-being. I'm your host, Joshua Brooks, and today on the podcast we have an incredibly special episode. We've got two wonderful naturopaths today to have a chat about their new business venture, which is called the Naturopath Creation Lab. Naturopathic Content Lab. Yeah. So we've got Alysia Chick and we've got Rachel Balm. So, ladies, how you going?
Yes, good. Thanks so much for having us on.
Yes, this is very exciting, and we are very much looking forward to sharing what we will be offering with everyone.
Yeah, wonderful. It's great for me. It's the first time I've had two therapists on, so I'm sure this is going to be very interesting.
Yes, we'll try not to talk over each other.
Yes, some decorum. So, how'd you guys get into natural health and natural therapies?
Who's going first?
Ali, if you want to start off.
Yeah, we'll go with you,
all right. So, I feel like I have always been into natural health in a sense of when I was a little kid. I remember making potions. Like, we lived on a 20-acre property and we had a creek down the back. I would take my little glass jars and fill them up with creek water and put like peppercorns and leaves and stuff. And then I would fill my little shelves and, heal my imaginary friends that I was playing with at the time. So that's sort of, when I look back, it was already there way back then as a little kid. And then as a teenager, I got into like learning yoga and meditation and that side of health. And then I went to uni straight after school, but I actually studied business with a major in marketing, which is nothing to do with natural health. So I worked in that field for 2 years and I actually really hated it. And I just knew that, I didn't want to spend my working life marketing someone else's product that I really wasn't passionate or really didn't care about. So I went with my boyfriend at the time. He's now my husband. We went to Southern School of Natural Therapies to one of their open days, and I was just like, my heart just lit on fire. I was like, oh, this is what I'm meant to be doing. This is it. So that was in 2007. So I studied there from 2008 till 2012. And then when I graduated, I actually worked in a pharmacy at the time, on the floor, like a pharmacy assistant, and they had a big vitamin and natural therapy range. And I also had a clinic room there. But I didn't really love the pharmacy aspect, and it's kind of hard to, I've got my natural medicines and then there's all these thousands of people on all these drugs, and I'm, it's an awkward situation to kind of reconcile. So I started my own naturopathy clinic in 2014, 15, because I'm a mum. I've got a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. You might see my 3-year-old. She's here with me today. I actually became pregnant the same week I opened up my own clinic, and I can't recommend that.
Oh, wow.
Because I just was so tired. Like, the first trimester for me is so exhausting, and it was like, oh my God, like I've got this new business and all I want to do is sleep. But we got through that, and here we are. So I am practicing just a little bit, seeing clients at the moment, but the main thing that I do is content creation, which is what we're here to talk about today. Did you want me to talk about how that happened? Do you want me to go into how that happened?
Well, maybe we'll throw it over to Rachel and...
Yep.
Yeah, I think we'll do it, but we'll go to Rachel and how did you get into natural health and natural medicine? What's your journey been like?
It's been a very long journey, and I think like many practitioners, I got into natural medicine through my own health journey and having a lot of health issues myself and wanting to learn how to manage them and to have a healthier life. A big part of it from being very young, I actually always had an interest in science. I loved science. I loved the human body, and I even have memories of in school just loving doing these presentations for the other students and teaching them about their body and about how they can care for it. One of my earlier memories was, funnily enough, it was a Disney book, and it's called Donald Learns a Lesson. And if you're not familiar with that book, it basically tells the story about how Donald Duck learns to value his health and how to take care of it. And I used to read this book, and just it spoke to me, just having all the images of what a healthy diet looked like and what it could do for you. That was one of my earlier experiences with natural medicine, and that's what got me so interested in healthy eating and how we can have a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah, wonderful.
That's so cute.
And so, yeah, let's talk about that's it, right? So let's have a chat about the naturopath content lab. What is it? Like, how did that come about? Yeah.
I'm just going to
start. What are you guys aiming to do with it? Let's dive in.
There's a whole lot we're aiming to do.
Sure,
it's really
go for
exciting.
it. Yeah.
Hang on, Lee. 3-year-old, you go, Rach. Hang on.
Well, to give you a bit of an idea, Josh, the background behind the Naturopath Content Lab is about patient education. And that's something that really brought both Ali and myself together, is that we absolutely love education. And that for us is such a big part of what we do as practitioners and what we have to offer as well. I think as natural therapists, the time that we give to patients is something of such value. And if you can create that time within a consultation and you can educate a patient about their health, then, that's such a big part of their health care and their health journey. And if you don't have that time to go into everything within that consultation, then having the resources that you can provide for a client that they can take away, patient handouts, and that they can continue to learn about their health, then, that's what this is all about. And a big part of what we do is we support practitioners to be able to offer that education to their patients, but not take a substantial amount of their time away from practicing. I don't know if a lot of patients realize, but when you go into clinical practice as a naturopath or a nutritionist, you start off with having to create your own content a lot of the time. And this takes up a lot of your own time and energy. And it's something that really stumped me about natural medicine when I was studying myself. Is, I got to a final year of studies and the lecturers would say, now you need to start preparing and get your handouts together and get organized. And I thought, wait, what? Like, don't we just go into clinic and it's all there for us and we can just start practicing? And like, while some people might have that, we realized that there's a big gap of information and resources that could be supplied to practitioners, so that from the very beginning, as soon as you have graduated, you've got everything that you need. And it's all evidence-based material that, is very supportive for our industry and for the practitioners in our industry.
So then how are you guys working it? So do people pay a subscription fee and then they get it, or do you have like content packages that people buy and then they can download the PDFs? And I guess, what's that business model looking like with you guys? How can people access this?
Great question. Do you want to take that, Ali?
Yeah, so we actually have both. So what we are creating right now is the content library membership. So people will pay a monthly subscription fee. We're going to have different levels, so basic to pro, depending on your needs. And then you get to access the content that you want, which will be blog posts, social media, patient handouts, and we're working on a couple of other things as well. And then we have we call it the VIP client, where we do one-on-one. So we do content specifically for them that no one else has access to, and that's obviously a more expensive option. So, and that's what I'm doing at the moment, because we're still creating the library, but we're hoping to have that up and running by the time this goes to air. So, yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. And so what kind of content are you guys creating? Is it just naturopathics, or are you looking at dietitians as well, massage therapists?
So
where in the natural health stage are you looking at marketing to?
So naturopaths and nutritionists, because that's what we know. That's what we studied, what we're good at. So we're sticking with that for the moment. And
yeah, wonderful. And so again, how is that being, how are you guys going to package that? Is it like a PDF and a download, or is it, like you said, the blog post? Is it going to be videos as well? What sort of like your view for how it goes?
It's going to be downloadable content to start with. We are looking at doing infographic type videos a bit down the track, but at the moment it will all be downloadable content that you can then amend yourself to make it how you want it. So yeah, downloads.
Yeah, perfect. And so what do you... Yeah,
sorry, Josh, just to add a little bit there. To answer your question, it's a range of formats because people learn differently. And this being that education platform, we want to provide different formats for people to be able to learn. So be it patient handouts that are downloadable content, or videos, or blogs, so written materials that people can use, or even social media content. So you've got a range of different materials that we provide.
Yeah, wonderful. And is one of the aims more for that practitioner education, or are you looking for practitioners to then hand on to their clients so that they can come home with a PDF document? Where are you looking at targeting it, or is it both, or is it all?
So one of our main aims is to be patient focused. So the content is for practitioners to use for their patients. So it's going to be in really understandable, non-scientific terms that the layperson can read and understand, not practitioner scientific journal writing. So patient focused. Yeah. And so then since it is patient focused, what are you guys looking at? Are you going to give, like, so say for example, a whole list of herbs, like say each individual herbs, or a naturopath who gives them the herbs can give them a little bit of a rundown on what they're supposed to be doing for their body? Or are you looking at more generalized, like dietary plans, how these different nutrients work together, how key guides to a healthy eating? What's that sort of content are you looking at building in that sort of way for naturopaths and dietitians? You go, Rach.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And what we are focusing on is that patient education, so they can have a better understanding of, say, what their condition is. So there will be condition-focused handouts. There will be handouts about nutrition as well, like healthy eating, about certain nutrients, about certain herbs as well for naturopaths and herbalists. And so there is a range of content that a practitioner would use in clinic to help educate the patient further. Yeah.
And I think it's so important, because, you know, when we give advice through a consultation, the client only takes in probably about 10% because of a whole range of factors, and it's completely normal. So yeah, having something like this where they can actually take them back, and then they can sit down when they're a little bit more relaxed, when they haven't just been overloaded with information, and digest it over the course of, you know, a week, a month, a year. It's so needed in our industry, I think.
It really is. And as Rach shared,
and it's so empowering.
You go.
Sorry, Ali, you go.
No, I was just saying, as Rach said earlier, but now I've forgotten what I was saying. So you go.
I was just going to mention about, you know, what it's like as a practitioner as well, is that, you know, there's so much as a practitioner that even I would like to be able to communicate with a patient within a consultation. And, you know, as a patient, like you mentioned, Josh, it can get a little bit overwhelming. There is so much that you take in within a consultation. So if you can take away the information and you can just digest it and be able to then come back and ask more questions from that material, it opens up more conversation. It opens up as well that sense of responsibility that a patient can take, where they're really having that empowerment over their health and that control, which really is what patient-centered care is about. It's not that authoritarian model where you're just told what you need to do for your health. It's actually having an understanding and appreciation of, oh, this is why this is happening for me, and this is what I can do about it. And that in itself is such an exciting thing to me. That's what it's all about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very big on that.
From what you guys have been saying is that
I was just adding in that
what I love about what you guys are saying is that
go.
Yeah, go for it. No, go, Ali, go.
I was just going to add to what Rachel said, is that whole empowerment and education is really the crux of what we are about. So
yeah, no, and what I was just going to say is what I love most of all about what you're saying is that you can download this information and then sort of personalize it as a practitioner. And so what you can kind of see is if you give a whole bunch of blog posts to people, they haven't built that rapport or that relationship with that blog person. So they just sort of read it. But if it's coming from someone who they know, trust, and actually value their opinion, it can sink in a lot more, and it allows them to do a bit more further research or to trust the information a little bit more. Because what I've found at the moment is that there's such a negative viewpoint from a lot of the mainstream on natural health, saying, you know, it's unscientific, it's all this sort of stuff, but there's actually quite a wide berth of scientific literature out there for us. And so to have that content library, I think, to give to our patients to actually show, well, no, there is research going on, is so empowering and so needed to build that trust in what we're doing. I would think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
And so when you're saying about the editable content, how exactly are you thinking that will look? So you've got your one-on-one where you guys create tailored specific stuff, and then you're saying that you've got your general content that they can edit themselves. How is that looking in your model at the moment?
So it's done for you content that anybody can just download, and you would download the same content, but how you customize it is things like changing up the headings throughout and making sure that you put pictures in, and also putting in like a patient story, like without any identifying name and things like that, or some language that your patients use all the time to make it relevant for them. So you don't have to rewrite the whole thing, but you just make it yours by doing those things. So and with the social media, you can, you know, download the images and then add your captions to it. Or we've got customizable captions where we'll say, this is where you write an experience, things like that. So we guide you through how to do it. Does that make sense?
I think to add to that, it's some of it is customizable, Josh, and some of it is already made for you. So you don't need to change anything to it if you don't want to. So that means that you've got the resources there that you can go, great, I've got a handout for that. And you don't need to worry about it. But other things you might like to be able to put in your own words or to adjust. And part of it as well, I think, that you can share about Ali is the lab part, which is teaching people how to create that content as well.
That was actually how this all started. Shall I talk about that?
Yeah, please. Wonderful.
For myself, coming from a marketing background, I think I was very lucky in that regard. But for the majority of naturopaths, we have no idea how to do business. So we do our uni degree. There's like one subject, creating a business plan, which is a waste of time. And then we get thrown out to create our own business, and no one knows how, and it's so stressful and overwhelming and challenging. And so this whole idea actually started with creating a course called the Naturopaths Content Lab, teaching naturopaths and nutritionists how to actually create content, and going right through from, you know, realizing who your target market is and who your content is for, right through how to actually write that content, how to create social media images that are brand cohesive, and all of that information, because we need it. And we need it in a way that is affordable, accessible, and understandable. There's a lot of business coaches out there, and some of them are amazing. But, you know, a new graduate does not have $2,000 or $3,000, do they, to do this amazing business coaching. They need something affordable for right now until they can afford that down the track. And so it was just bridging that gap between what's there and what's accessible. And so that's the Content Lab, learning how to create the content. And then the library is what we've been talking about, is a whole library of content that you can access for a monthly fee and download as you need it. So
yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
And what I love about that you just said, it's like, as well, you can grab a great business coach, but if they've got no idea about natural medicine, right? Like,
exactly.
You know, it can be that mismatch. Whereas if you've got actual naturopaths creating marketing specific for natural medicine, like, I think that's a game changer, because you actually understand it. You actually know how to market it and what you're talking about. It's not just some bland business stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And part of the Content Lab, the course, is creating content that, again, is patient focused. And patients don't want to know about the subjects that are in your courses or whatever. They want to know what's in it for them. What am I as a patient going to get out of this? And that's how we create the content that's really going to talk to them. So that was a big part of it as well. Yeah. You can tell I'm passionate about this.
And I think, 100%. And I think this is one of the issues that I personally have, is you talk to a lot of natural therapists, and for some reason they've got such an aversion to it being a business. But at the end of the day, if it's not a business, your clients won't know about you, which means you're not getting your name out there, which means we can't showcase what we can do for them, because natural medicine has such a wonderful ability and such a place within the health landscape. And so if you're not marketing, if you're not getting clients through your door, you've got no chance of actually showcasing that wonderful medicine that we can bring to the world.
Exactly.
So it seems to be this whole aversion to actually making money or showcasing your skills. But at the end of the day, you've paid a lot of money for your courses. You've undergone a heap of training. It's all scientifically valid. So, you know, there should be no real ethical problems making money off your skill case, I don't believe.
No.
And look, really being able to help people market it.
Yes. And we do wonderful things for people. We deserve to be paid well for that. So, and we just teach you how to get there, right? So, yeah,
that's it, right? And so I just think that's absolutely amazing. Like, I think it's such a great gift that you're giving to the world.
Really and we love it. Like, we both really enjoy not only educating people, but educating ourselves and writing about all the things that we learn to share with others as well. So I think we're both what you would call nerds.
Oh, you're speaking to a fellow one. What I would actually love to ask is, do you have any plans for the future of expanding it out to maybe massage therapists or Chinese medicine therapists or sort of other natural health practitioners in that space, and bringing people on board? Is that kind of in your future plans of expansion? Or
I do have a grand vision for this. Ultimately, so Rachel and I are both gut health naturopaths. That's our specialty. However, we love learning and we write about everything as naturopaths. You know, you're well-rounded. But what I would really like to do is get naturopaths who specialize in all the different fields to contribute articles from their specialties, and perhaps further down the track we might look at other modalities as well. We haven't actually talked about that, but yeah, so it would be great to also have more naturopaths on board who can do the VIP content too, the one-on-one in their specialty fields for other practitioners who need that content in those fields. So there are expansion plans, but we have to do the ground layer first.
For sure, yeah, 100%. And this is the other thing that I find, talking to a lot of different natural therapists, and myself included, you feel very isolated when you leave, right? It's kind of like you had this great experience at uni and then kicked out and go make it on your own. But at the end of the day, like you said, we've all got our own little specialities. We've all got our own little niches that we specialize in. And to get the best for your clients, it is good to build that network and that, you know, that fundamental healthcare landscape. So like you said, if I've got a client with gut issues, I'd send them to you. And if you maybe have another client with skin issues, you may refer it to somebody else. And having those good practitioners that you can refer onto and that you can start to make that network, your client's just going to get the best possible outcomes for themselves.
Absolutely. I think a big part of this for me was that since 2014, I've been in practice by myself. It's very lonely. You know, you really miss that bouncing cases and ideas and things off other naturopaths. Whereas during COVID, I shut down my clinic and I realized that I wasn't actually enjoying that so much, but I'd always loved the writing and the business. And I've been able to connect with other practitioners so much more doing this content work. So it's been really great. And I think for Rachel as well, to be able to connect in this way rather than being solo practitioners.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's the other thing, right? It's like debriefing, just simple debriefing about different clients. You know, like, am I doing the right thing, or is this the most optimal treatment? You know, like, I mean, when you're by yourself, you can have that self-confidence. It's not so much self-confidence, but, you know, like, it's that questioning how you're going, and then you talk to another naturopath, like, yeah, I would have done that, and you're like, oh, good. Yeah, exactly. And so again, having the option of the library, you can download it, right? And so you've got these PDFs. It's like, oh yeah, no, I am on the right track. I am doing something there. I can throw in a little bit of a change. It's like, yeah, I just think that's wonderful. It gives that people such confidence to strive forward with what they're doing.
You've just given me an idea.
Absolutely.
Maybe we have.
And I think that's a great thing about what we're doing as well.
I was just going to say, we might have to make the naturopath circle and have like support groups. What a great idea.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. Thank you. What were you saying, Rachel?
Yeah, well, I was just going to expand on what you were saying, Josh, is that, you know, in benefiting the practitioners, we're benefiting the patients, and it's just like, it's really what we had in mind was a lot about the education part, but it's for everyone. You're creating a community of practitioners that feel supported and that there is a network there. You're raising the level of professionalism with evidence-based resources. And I think a big part of it for me is also it's creating a certain level of expectation about, you know, what is healthcare and what is health education and what it means to take people on a journey. I think oftentimes patients will, you know, come in and they think, oh, if you can just help me with this particular issue, then I'll be fine. You know, then that's my health journey sorted. You know, we're all good. But it's so much more than that. And it doesn't ever stop. You know, our bodies are continuously changing, and we go through different life stages, and, you know, that health journey requires support continuously. So I think a big part of that education is being able to help people regulate their health throughout their entire lives. And that's what we're doing. It's not just about, you know, here is an issue, we solve it, done. it's about changing the mindset around health and what we do as holistic practitioners as well.
Yeah, well, it's one of the things that I love so much about natural health is that we can really put the human front and center. Like one of the issues that I do have with Western medicine is that they seem to reduce the humans to numbers on a page. And that to me doesn't quite work. I think that one of the best things about natural health is that, yeah, we put the human in the middle. What are you? What's unique to you? How can we help you achieve a wonderful life? And so I think that that's one of our major advantages in the healthcare landscape is that we can actually treat the human in front of us, treat that person in front of us.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And I think that's also where we're heading, with this change to, being more online, providing more coaching as well, is that it's not just about solving one problem, but seeing the whole person and their lifestyle and their psyche and how everything is interconnected.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for coming on. It's been absolutely brilliant. So where can people find you? Where can they contact you? And are you guys open to other naturopaths contacting you with their specialities to maybe start to add to your library?
Yes. So at the moment, we have 2 different websites. We are creating one, but at the moment I'm alysiachick.com and Rachel.
rachelbalm.com.au.
Yeah, perfect. Well, as always, guys, we'll put those links in the bottom so that they can click through to you. But I'd just like to say thank you so much for coming on, guys, and sharing this wonderful idea with us all. I absolutely love it.
You.
I think it's great. Is there anything that you'd like to say before you? Is there anything that I'd like to
thank you, Josh. I just really appreciate being able to share our passion, and I'm looking forward to where this is going and the change that it supports within our industry as well. It's very exciting. Yeah,
definitely.
Yes.
Anything that you'd like to add,
Thank
Ali?
you so much. No, we're good.
Oh, perfect. Well, guys, if anyone's out there and is looking for some wonderful, wonderful resources and would like to contribute as well, please check out the links below and get in contact with these wonderful naturopaths. But I'd just like to say from myself and from Anta, thank you so much for coming on, sharing your wonderful self and sharing your ideas with us all today. And for everybody else out there, we'll catch you all next time. Stay well, stay healthy, and have a good life. Bye now.
Thank you for listening to Therapist Spotlight. If you would like to know more about Anta, visit us at www.anta.com.au.